give a speech today. I want to give a speech. I never give a good speech. It'll be terrible. I'll probably have to quit Toastmasters after this speech. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, what you just heard was an audible example of self-talk. Usually self-talk is inside our heads. The Mayo Clinic has found that positive self-talk helps us to increase our resistance to the common cold, reduce our cardiovascular health risks, and possibly could even lengthen our lives. Negative self-talk is a stress, and we all have enough stress in our heads without a running narrative that tells us how stupid we are, or how we'll never get ahead, or how we should have worn something different today. Let me give you an example of the difference. Let's say you stumble. Now, negative self-talk would say, oh, you stupid, clumsy thing, you always stumbling. What's the matter with you? Positive self-talk is more reasonable. And it might say something like, oh, I wonder what I stumbled on. I better go back and move that so nobody else stumbles. See? It's a totally different zeitgeist when you have positive self-talk. My suggestion to you is to tune into your self-talk several times a day. And if it is negative, use the techniques I'm going to tell you about to stop negative self-talk. There are 3 techniques I want to tell you about: exercise, gratefulness, and get to. The first is exercise. The Mayo Clinic did a study, and they determined that when you are in that negative loop, negative self-talk, you need to distract yourself. The best way to do that is exercise. It can be as simple as a few deep breaths. We all know that that lowers our stress level. Or get up and walk around the block. Walk to the drinking fountain. If you're lucky enough to be at home, take your dog for a walk. Exercise is an excellent way to get rid of negative self-talk. That's technique number 1. Number 2 is gratefulness. One thing about self-talk is that it is totally self-absorbed. It's something called over-personalization. Whatever happens to me is because it's me, because I'm the center of the universe. Or, as I like to think of it, me. Let me give you an example, a real-life example. Many years ago, I worked at Santa Monica Public Library. And I worked with a woman by the name of Sue. Sue had the longest commute of anybody at that library. She lived about 10 miles away in Park La Brea Towers. And Sue decided that she was going to take the bus on Friday because she was tired of all the driving, which, when you think about it, driving is pretty useless. And she thought, well, if I'm on the bus, I can read, I can take a nap, I can daydream. It'll be, that useful time. But she was going to take the bus on Friday. Midnight Thursday, the bus drivers went on strike. Now, obviously, this was because of Sue, right? To hear her tell it, you would have thought they all had a picture of Sue. And they said, I'm not letting that woman on. I'd rather go on strike than drive Sue anywhere. Now, Sue could have turned that around if she had thought about something besides herself and thought about gratefulness. It is, in my opinion, it is impossible to be totally self-absorbed and grateful at the same time. So Sue could have said something like this. Well, I didn't get to take the bus today, but at least I am grateful that I have a car so I can still get to work. But no. Sue was totally in that negative self-talk loop. So gratefulness takes us out of there. For instance, since I am a woman, I am grateful I was born in this country and not in Iran, for instance. I am grateful I have a loving husband. I am grateful that I had a terrific career doing something that I really enjoyed. I'm grateful that we moved to Reno 25 years ago because the air is clean, you can see the stars at night. What an improvement from Los Angeles. Gratefulness. You can't navel gaze and be grateful at the same time. So that's technique number 2, gratefulness. Gratefulness. Get into this negative self-talk. Think about what you're grateful for, and it'll stop the stop it right there. The third technique I call get to. And that sounds a little strange, I'm sure. It's very simple and exceedingly effective. Instead of saying have to, must, should, need to, say get to. Goes like this. Now, personally, I hate grocery shopping. I hate it. I hate it. Every week, it's the same thing. But instead of saying, oh, I have to go grocery shopping, you say, I get to go grocery shopping. Think about what that means. I have the money to pay for groceries. I have a choice of several grocery stores within a 5-mile radius. I can choose where I want to go. And I have a car, so I don't have to walk to the grocery store. So I get to go grocery shopping. Or you might say, I get to drive my kids to school. Again, I have a car, so I can drive them to school. And fortunately, many years ago, in this country, we decided that an educated citizenry was worth having tuition-free education for our kids from 1st to 12th grade. The last one is the most difficult, but I want you to think about this one. And that one is, I get to take out the trash. Now, you're saying, no, that's too, no. But think about this. I've been places where people had so little that they had no trash. No trash, because they've eaten every crumb, they've used up every rag they had. So you get to take out the trash because we have such an abundance in this country. So there you have it. Negative self-talk, when you monitor your self-talk and you hear yourself getting down on yourself, exercise, gratefulness, and get to. And I'm grateful I get to give a speech, Mr. Toastmaster.